So Mortal Kombat 1 has been on the Nintendo Switch for about just a little over a year now, and when this came out, this was by far the buggiest port that was on the Nintendo Switch in that year. This left a lot of people thinking, is this going to be a WWE 2K18 situation where this game dropped, they never fixed the shit, and we fucked? Or is this going to be a Ark Survival type of situation where the game comes out really buggy, pisses a lot of people off, then they update it and fix the game and everybody shuts the hell up? So we're going to be taking a deeper dive into Mortal Kombat 1 on the Nintendo Switch. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and jump in this video.
You know how much I love that Nintendo Switch!
So, of course, there's no secret about this game. When it first came out, it was definitely in that mixed bag. I even reviewed this game, and I even said, hey, this game had 60 FPS gameplay, but there were just way too many bugs to ignore. So, a lot of people were definitely hoping for a lot of fixes and updates and patches, but this wasn't going to be something that was going to be done in a few patches here and there. So, this was something that was going to be done over, countless months, depending on how much work really needed to be put into the port. And, of course, fast forward about a little over a year now, we're diving back in, and I gotta say, it is definitely a night and day experience from when I first played this game at launch. So on the initial release, there was a crazy amount of bugs, from Reptile's lizard head floating off his body to the hourglass stage just looking like absolute poo and playing like poo. Certain fatalities played in slow-mo. So even past the initial release, I was actually keeping up with this game. Going into a couple patches in, they were making a lot of noticeable changes, like decreasing the load times and actually having the characters' textures not look all flat and muddy like they were in that infamous Melita picture. But in that same token, they would make a lot of strides and a lot of steps in the right direction, but then there would be certain things that did not need to be tweaked at all, and then those things kind of got tampered with, and it just made it seem like, okay, you didn't know what was going to get fixed and what was going to get ruined. And if you played Mortal Kombat 11 on the Nintendo Switch, there were certain characters that their fatalities did not play the best, and they definitely had some performance issues, and then you fast forward a little bit later down the line, they still technically did not get fixed. But I'm definitely noticing that all of the characters in Mortal Kombat 1, just about all of their fatalities play pretty smooth, except for maybe Reiko's. His was like a little bit of some performance issues here and there, but when I noticed it from its launch, it's vastly improved since then. I did go ahead and dabble, of course, in the Towers of Time, and then I did dabble with the Invasion mode again. So even the performance in the Invasion mode has definitely improved. Like, I remember there were some of the, kind of mini games where you gotta dodge the energy balls or Kung Lao's hats. Those actually used to run a little bit shoddy in the past, and I've actually noticed those have seen a good bit of improvement. I do gotta say, man, it is actually really good to see this game make a lot of improvements and kind of get its wheels back on the track in a way. Man, I was even surprised they even fixed the end cutscene at the towers. I was suffering through that shit for months, chief. It's fixed. Well, the one downside that I noticed on the Nintendo Switch right now, which I kind of understand, is that the fact that the Nintendo Switch version of Mortal Kombat 1 does not support crossplay. And I thought about that. I was like, yeah, it's probably going to end up putting load times into the next gen versions, and then that's going to cause a big old uproar. So I kind of understand that. But that seems like that is the only downside to playing Mortal Kombat 1 on the Nintendo Switch, is that you don't get opportunity to indulge in that crossplay that I wish you could. So just to give you an idea about the port, we're actually going to go ahead and rate it on my QKG scale, which is pretty much close to X-Play's 1 out of 5 scale. So just looking at Mortal Kombat 1 from its initial launch, the game has definitely made vast improvements. I am still a little sad there's no crossplay, although I understand. But just me looking at the port, it's definitely made vast improvements to where it's actually a viable option just to really play again. Mortal Kombat 1 on Nintendo Switch get a solid 4 out of 5 from your boy QKG. We not going to ignore the fact that you guys buckled down, you fixed this game and made it a hell of a lot more playable than it was at launch, even though it should have been. So shout out to the dev teams over at Mortal Kombat 1 Switch Division for all your hard work at fixing the game. So as always, I would love to thank you guys for tuning into this video, and make sure you let me know in the comments down below what you think about this review. And of course, if there's a game you want me to review next, make sure you leave it in the comment section down below. And as always, my dogs, this is your boy QKG, and peace out.
Fatality. Scorpion.